Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Hi, this is Carol, and welcome to Rise with Carol Gockel. How's everybody doing? So, for those who have just joined us, thank you for joining us. And for those who don't know me, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Carol Gockel. I'm a confidence coach, author, speaker, and change maker. What is a confidence coach? I actually help women to own their confidence through my Confidence Lady coaching blueprint. So Rise with Carol Gockel is the series that I've actually put up to shine the light on females, on powerful females globally, to give them an opportunity to showcase and then to give to allow them to share their stories, share their journeys and their struggle. Because through stories, this is actually how we work with each other, to inspire each other for change. And today we have a very, very special guest. She is someone who is of beauty and brains. I would describe her as someone who is still water runs deep. You see, due to her crown and sash, she is often misunderstood, yet she takes it in her stride and rise above it all. See, when I met her last year, I can tell from the short conversation we had that she is a woman of substance and depth. And to be very frank, don't be fooled by her appearance, because this woman packs a mean punch, and yet she has a heart that is bigger than most people. She is an education specialist who has involved in molding the future of the nations for close to 2 decades. She graduated with a master's in education, both in curriculum and teaching, from a renowned Nanyang Technological University National Institute of Education. She customizes the lessons through differentiated teaching to cater to students' individual needs. Now, while building on their character to better prepare them for the future. The students include locals and internationals, adults, and all the way to children. And she also works with children with special needs. Now, she has been interviewed and featured in a number of international magazines as an inspiring figure. She also had been invited as a speaker for a number of topics, those including interfaith harmony, fashion, leadership, and her pageantry journey. Yes, she is a beauty queen, but a beauty with a brain. She is also involved in a lot of charity work locally and internationally. And her accolades, being the Goodwill Ambassador for Singapore, she's a humanitarian ambassador for the year, a candidate for Women of the Year, a crown keeper, Miss Charity, Miss Singapore International Beautiful Eyes, and the 4 times top winner for Best Dress competition. And she is Miss Faith Hang. And let's join our hands to welcome Faith. Hello, Faith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Faith Hang.
Hi.
Yes, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much for for coming on to the show, and especially on the weekday evening at 10 o'clock. And I understand that you had a long day.
Yes. Yeah, I should be the one thanking you actually for the invitation.
Oh, well, you are inspiring to me. Faith, would you like to share with the audience who are actually watching this right now, what is your story? Who is Faith?
Oh, okay. Actually, people do find my story inspiring because my starting point wasn't very high. Yeah. So when I was young, actually, I was a plain Jane. So I even remembered my secondary school literature teacher. She actually told me, "Oh, you're so poor thing. You're born black duck like me." So I was like, "Oh my God, am I such a poor thing?" I never realized. Yes. So and other than that, academically wise, I actually studied in a neighborhood school. So I wasn't doing very well, although I clinched like first prize when I was in primary 5. Yeah, but as compared to my siblings and my cousins, it was really nothing because for my grandmother, out of 10 grandchildren, actually 3 of them were gifted streams, were from gifted stream, and then a few of them from RJCs. So even my uncle, he was a scholar. So in the 60s and then 70s, it was like quite a big hoo-ha. Yeah. So I always feel very small, like people do not pay much attention to me, and I don't receive like much encouragement from people. I think probably they would think that, I wouldn't amount to much thing. I wouldn't achieve much in the future. Yep. So even I can't speak English that well when I was small. Yep. So actually, I do remember it's like there's a time I actually asked my father to bring me for a competition because I don't know how to go to that place. So he just tell me, he just told me like, what's the point of going? You won't win. So I was like, okay, although that can be factual, but it's quite hurtful because I know that, my father and mother will always volunteer to go with my elder sister for her competition. So actually I wanted to have that same support from them. Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not there. Yeah. And there's also a time that, I wanted to eat the chicken wings, which was usually meant for my sister. But that day she was actually out. So I thought I had my chance. But after I ate it, it's like my mom told me, that was meant for your uncle's wife. So I really feel quite hurt. It's like I wanted to prove myself worthy because I always think that, maybe it's because that I am not as high flyer as my siblings or cousins. That's why I was like not getting what I think I could have gotten. Yeah. So eventually I'm very thankful that actually I persevered on. So after that, I was being selected by MOE for interview, and I actually got through. So my Bachelor of Arts is actually sponsored by them. Yeah. And even moving on to the master degree. So that is the first recognition I actually received that, I know that, I can do something, because to me, master level is something like not everyone really persevere to achieve to that level. Yeah. So I'm actually quite thankful for that. Yeah, so and the second thing is actually I'm quite happy to become a teacher. It was actually my ambition since young. The teacher will always ask like, oh, what is your ambition? Then you write this composition. So mine is actually to be a teacher. Yeah, and I think I can actually use my experiences as a student to really resonate with how the current students are facing the difficulties. So I think it really fits me well. Yeah. So being a teacher is not that easy actually. So as many people would think that, it's just like you are just teaching the subject, you're teaching Chinese. But actually not. We are actually teaching the students, and every student is actually very unique individual. And especially when I teach there's special needs students, so they can be like children with autism or hyperactivity or anger management. So I have to find ways to help them to cope with being in a mainstream class. For example, I have a class that has like 30 students, 30 plus students, and then there are 3 kids with autism. And then I remember another time, it's like during my primary 5, when I was teaching a primary 5 class. So there's this boy with anger management. He actually, something triggered him. So he lifted a table and wanted to throw it. Yeah, so actually that's the things that, teachers can go through. So I managed to calm him down and excuse him to toilet, and I get somebody to follow him and check on him. Yeah. But
I can actually
so
see that you're
yes.
very, very passionate, with regards to the work that you mean. You are definitely a celebrated educator. And I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, thank you.
The thing is,
No worries.
when I met you first, and also, when I see you right now, it's like 2 different personality, right? So, and the thing is that because you are also currently a crown holder, like a crown holder, and also a title holder, you are the Goodwill Ambassador of Singapore. And and that is actually always in association with your role as a pageant winner. So, and then the things like when people tend to have this misconception. They always have this comment that I've heard that beauty queens are actually airheads, and you definitely sure isn't one. But how do you feel when people say that beauty queens are actually airheads?
I think it's also part of the responsibility of the current queens to actually pass the message on, to promote that actually pageant goes beyond just choosing the appearance. Maybe traditionally the emphasis is more on the appearance, but nowadays it's also about like what is the platform that you are promoting. That means the good cause that you're supporting, and how you actually advocate it. And it's not an easy job, like anyone can do it. You really have to have that faith and perseverance to really go through all this. And actually in the long run, it's like looks may attract a person, in the short term, but what goes after that? Yeah, you need something more than just looks.
Yeah, this one 100% resonate with what you just said. Because, beauty is only skin deep. True beauty is actually lies in the mind and in the heart, and you definitely have both.
Yes,
Yeah.
and beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So it's
Indeed.
like you can't be beautiful in the eyes of everyone. Yeah, but I think character, people can resonate more, that they are deeper.
Yeah, and you're also a very, very strong advocate on world peace. Is this something that you always wanted to do, to advocate world peace?
Actually, for me, I'm into humanitarian work. So it's like anything about love or peace. I would like to advocate that. Yeah, I think Singapore is actually quite blessed, as in we don't really have war, physical war, or we don't have like racial conflict. Yep, where we have like racial harmony. But actually, in other countries, it's like it can be quite common. So there was a time I went to a country, and I'm quite surprised when I learned that their war is actually just 10 years ago. Because for me, as a Singaporean, my idea of a war is like, it's like my grandfather time. It's like World War II, which is like really, really long ago. Yeah. So I think we need to be aware, yeah, and be thankful of what we have. Yeah. But I think nowadays it's like with the stress level of people like working and having to handle kids and children and family, it's like there can be a unease. They can be not at ease mentally. So it's not a physical war, but it maybe goes on to the other level, which is like mental. So I think we also have to think of ways of how to calm ourselves. Yep.
And you definitely hit the nail on the head over there about having this mindset and awareness to calm yourself. And yeah, you couldn't have said it better. And then the thing is, like, you definitely have gone through, based on what you have described earlier about your childhood, how you actually dealt with not having much confidence, and how you actually work hard to become who you are. But what would you say would be your biggest challenge that you have to overcome in order to be who you are today?
I think like just what you have mentioned about the self-esteem part. Yes, I really have a low self-esteem. I only learned that I'm a late bloomer when I actually graduated from my master's degree. Yeah, so I'm actually more creative. So actually along the way, I would say that I'm quite blessed that I have a lot of opportunities. But this self-esteem thing is actually keep on coming to me. Like I always question myself, like whether I can do it. Yep. So now I'm learning to just do it, and learn along the process, like how to get it done even better. If not, it will be an obstacle to me like forever, like.
Yeah. Now I'm really, really curious, like how do you handle if something negative that's been thrown to you?
Oh, okay. I think everybody got it quite often. To be on the bright side, I'm actually quite optimistic person. Yeah, I'm quite cheerful. For negativity, actually I was quite hard on myself when I first experienced all this. Yeah, when people say things about me, yeah, I would think that it's truly my fault. It's because I'm not good enough. But after a while, I learned that everybody have their own perspective to things. So, for example, if you want to be slim, you would think that slim is good. But for me, maybe I prefer to be healthy. Yeah. So when people are saying some things, they are actually reflecting what they are thinking. Yeah. So maybe it's a way for us to understand them. And I learned that we don't have to really follow what they say, because I have my own life, yeah, and they have their own. Yeah. So we just live as how we would want it best to.
Wow. Yeah, indeed. Golden nugget right there for you, your audience. Yeah. I'm also very curious. You see, typically, for a beauty title holder, she will have like 1 year for the entire reign period to support her cause. And then I'm always wondering, like, what happens after that, after she passes her crown, to the next title winner. What is it like for you?
I think I'm a bit clueless person in that sense. When I joined pageant, I didn't realize that. I thought for me, actually joining pageant is just out of fun, like, oh, okay, I never joined before, so I thought I'll just embark on this little adventure. Yeah. But after that, I realized it's actually, just 1 year. But I think it really depends on the lady herself, whether she want herself to be part of a pageant or she want the pageant to be part of her life. Yep. So it's like, like within this year, whether you have accumulate enough experiences or network, or you have like strengthened yourself, that you are able to carry on even without that title. Because like, for example, if you advocate for a good cause, that cause doesn't end, at the end of your reign. Yeah. You still promote it. Yeah. And if people recognize you, you will you're able to continue with the journey. Yeah. So I wouldn't really say that, like your journey ends with this reign. Yeah. That is just part of it. It just helps to highlight your strength and it empowers you so that you can have a stronger voice when you speak to the public. Yeah. And you have a greater life purpose to fulfill. Yes.
Yeah. And totally agree with you on that. And you're also very heavily involved in charity work locally and internationally. So would you share with us what kind of charity work that you're currently involved with?
Oh, currently, okay. So the latest one is actually a peace intergenerational dialogue. Yeah. So I'm actually a convener. So I actually gather all my speakers and my moderators. So we are going to have this talk. It's interesting because it's cross-generation. So, different generation can have different perspective to things, especially to peace. So maybe the older generation, they may can relate, maybe better with the traditional meaning of peace, as in like no war. But maybe the younger ones, they have like different perspective, because the younger ones, you tend to have like more critical thinking in a way. Yes. So actually on my board of speakers, I also have secondary 3 students. So I think she will be able to give some very interesting views about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. So it looks actually quite diverse. Yeah. And also because you see, one of the topics that you speak on is on leadership. And I'm sure this is something very close to your heart because you are actually building future leaders. So would you care to actually expand a little bit more in terms of what are you working with, with young adults and with some of the the students, to create leadership from, to build future leaders?
I think education is really about preparing the students for the future, and leadership is a very key factor that will come in play for the future, because like in the future, it's like a lot of things can be done by AI. Yeah, but leadership and things to do with like communication and stuff is like you still need the people. And for future leaders, it's actually, I think the whole thing will become quite different from the past. As in the older generations, for that time, actually, if we talk about like the classroom teaching, we talk about it first. So it's like for the older generation, actually usually it's the teacher talk and talk, and the students will listen. Whereas for nowadays, the students, their experience is different. They will have like group work, and the teacher is more like a facilitator. So they will guide the children as they do their work, and they learn about interpersonal skills, how they interact with their friends. So to lead this batch of students who will grow up to enter the workforce, you will need a different type of leadership. Yeah. So actually the in trend one will be like the servant leadership, or like or service leadership. Yeah. So you actually you will take on a different role, not that you are there, you're not like just telling your subordinates like what to do or whatever, but you will guide them along. You will learn like what they need. Yeah. And you will try to fulfill their needs along with what the company needs. Yeah. So it's a totally different type of leadership style.
Yeah. Actually, the thing is like, this so-called servant leadership has already been a topic, for the past few years. And it only started to gain a lot of traction in recent time, and in particular during this COVID pandemic situation, where everybody has to be forced out of their normal routine. Right? How has that impacted you in the work that we do?
For me, okay, for education, definitely we are like going online as compared to like physical on site. Yeah, but now actually we are slowly like going. I'm starting to slowly go into my students' house, and even for the one that I'm doing in the alumni of the university. Yeah, so it will be they will restart it again. Yeah. I think the thing is we need to learn that, the only thing that is constant nowadays is change. So we need to be forever ready for change and adapt to it. We can only ride on the wave rather than expecting the situation to go to our advantage. Yes. So even for this COVID period, although like a lot of businesses closed down, and a lot of people say that, it's really bad for their business, that they are not earning money. But you do see some businessmen, they actually earn even more than before COVID period. Yeah. So it's like how you twist and tweak your business to ride on the wave.
Yeah. So I'm also quite curious the fact that because when I first met you, right, you were really like all in your pageantry beauty queen mode. So and when people when you mentioned about you being an educator, I was like, wow, this is so different. That means you definitely is a woman of different depth. So when for those people who already know you as an educator, and then for you to add on to your accolade as a beauty queen, what would be the common reaction when they find out?
A pity. I think a lot of people relate me to beauty queen rather than an educator. Yes. Because I think it's like when you have conversation with people, usually it doesn't go so deep. You see. So if we are talking about surface things, it's like people wouldn't tell like how much you know. Yeah. So yes, and if for social medias, usually people relate me to being a beauty queen rather than a diplomat, because actually for my Goodwill Ambassador for Singapore, it's actually a diplomat role. Yeah, that will sound like more formal maybe. Yep. So it's like I for Facebook, it's like I receive a lot of messages saying like asking me like how are you, how's your day, and those type of stuff. So I thought it's a bit funny. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Would you tell us a little bit more? I'm actually quite curious about your role as a Goodwill Ambassador for Singapore. Would you tell me a little bit more what you do in your role?
Okay, so actually I was conferred like last year. It was actually a very interesting experience. So it's like I went there as a diplomat. So once I alighted from the aeroplane, somebody actually came to receive me, and I traveled through the express lane, and he helped me fill up the visa, and I was sent to the VIP lounge while he go and get my luggage for me. Yeah, so it was really to me it's quite interesting. Yeah, and I appear at a International Women's Day event. Yep. So I was actually giving out like certificate to the award recipients, and I conducted a leadership talk. So the audience are like can be business holders or even youths. So it's quite interesting. Yeah. Then I think the most memorable one would be me actually opening a water cooler in a village. Yeah, so people may think, oh, why do you need to open the water cooler? It's like opening ceremony, Yeah, so it's like in Singapore, it's like water cooler is so common. It's like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing like very interesting or something like very unique. Yeah, but in a village, it's like it can be the only clean water source for the villages. If not, they may have to like travel to the river to get water, and then they may have to cook it and this stuff. And the other interesting part is like because the sponsor, they were very kind. They actually have this plaque that bears my name on it. They said that the villagers, wherever they come and drink, they will like give thanks to you. So I thought, wow, that's really very nice of them. Yeah, it's very kind. Because you see, a lot of times like people will think that the less privileged people, they tend to be on the receiving end and they are unable to give. But actually that's not true, you see. Even a thank you actually can warm people's heart, and it's really like can be really valuable. Yeah. So I think it's good that they have this cycle that like the sponsor, that everybody contributes their part, whatever they can. Like the sponsor will come out with this water cooler, and I will go and open the water cooler for them, and the villagers get to say thanks to me, and they get their clean flow of water. I think it's really memorable. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super, super meaningful. Like by hearing the way how you mention it, because it's like for us, being Singaporeans, it's like we have this, we live in a society where at the turn of a tap, we have clean drinkable water that comes out.
Precisely.
So, we are
Yes.
very pampered, and then it's very difficult for us to imagine people who have to travel long distance. As you mentioned earlier, I was like thinking, like how life would be for me if I had to go travel to somewhere far and then to get water, and then the source of the water may not be clean. So it's like, the amount
Right.
of disease, waterborne disease, poisoning, and then that will actually affect the growth of future generations. It's quite unimaginable, having been in the privileged
Correct. Yes.
environment that we are in. So
Yes.
how would you say experiences like this affect you?
I think this is what I really want, because when I was teaching back in school, it's like I was really busy with my students and the textbook and the piles of marking to do. So now I really get to see what is outside, in the outside world. Yes, and especially in a country that the culture is like not as similar as Singapore, because a few like years back, I usually travel around like Southeast Asia. So the culture is quite similar. Yeah. So nowadays I will like travel further. I think it's good to learn that we sometimes it's like when things come very easy or naturally, it's in our environment, we tend to take things for granted until we go to another environment and realize, oh, this is my blessing that I get this water every day. Yes. Whereas like there are people who actually wanted it, but they may not get it.
Yeah, that is true. And from what you are saying, it's like it really dawns on me that you can really do a lot more, by being a title holder, because you are being put into this position, this role, where doors are automatically open for you. That whatever voice and whatever passion and mission that you have for yourself to be able to serve the community, you are given this platform as a title holder to actually to go out to have a bigger reach. Right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's a blessing, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm audience, for ladies and gentlemen, if you're actually watching this, you see that's actually what I'm saying. You see, she has a bigger heart than most people. And I hope today, we debunk a lot of myths about being a beauty queen. And then that's actually is in a way my aim, in a sense, to actually challenge the norm and also give an opportunity, because in the past I am also guilty when I'm also quite critical. When I look at all those beauty pageants on TV, sometimes I look at them, I was like, this kind of appearance, the way she carries herself, can she even represent Singapore? Is she even putting us Singaporeans in a good light? So there's a lot of criticism, but because I was ignorant. And then I finally realized that beauty is not about how you appear. Beauty is about how you actually project the inner part of yourself. And I'm really thankful that we have this conversation today to be able to shed some light about the misconception about beauty queens, and also for people to really understand that beauty is really, really beyond skin deep. Right? Is there anything else that you would like to share with us? What you will be doing next? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Doing next, I think I'll still continue in my humanitarian work. So I'm actually moving to like internationally. So whenever like people approach me, I will contribute in whatever sense I can.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting for my appearance in the magazine, which will actually feature like how I face COVID-19 situation. Yes, and what did I do for it? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so the name of the show is called Rise with Carol Gockel. So what does the word rise, R-I-S-E, means to you?
Well, okay, for me, I think it's like getting empowered. Yeah. So it's like traditionally, women always say, like that they after they get married, then they will like have themselves surrounded by like children, they're busy with family. But I think that there are a lot of things that women can do more than just taking care of family. Yeah. So I think, for example, even like now in the politics scene, it's like in overseas countries, like a lot. There are more female leaders nowadays. Yes. So I think that is called rising.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And of course, earlier you mentioned about you are being chosen as the co-winner for this global peace intergenerational dialogue, right?
Yes.
And this is also in relations and also in support of United Nations 75th anniversary in engaging all the at least 75 nations on global dialogue on how to actually to deal how humanity actually deal with the COVID pandemic, as well as how we actually move humanity beyond, right? So is there a particular topic of concern that you would like to actually cover during this dialogue?
Actually, as a convener, I will be giving an opening speech. So probably I'll be introducing this dialogue and this peace, the perspective of peace to people. Yes. So so peace can be like no poverty. It can be things other than just no physical war. Yes.
Yeah. True. And you mentioned earlier, like the war that we are facing right now is just beyond the word war that we all know, right?
Yes. I mean, during the COVID period, it's like we see a lot of like behavior of different people. Yeah, that shows certain things, like maybe they are not that at ease with themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, true. So, for the audience, if they want to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
Oh, okay. They can actually search for me on Facebook. So it's under Faith, Faith and HG. Yeah, HG is a short form for my surname.
So yes, because today we're not accepting any comments from the live audience, but whoever actually was actually catching the replay right now, if you have any questions with regards to humanitarian work, with regards to education, do feel free to get in touch with Faith privately, and you can get in touch with her and get connected with her on Facebook. And her Facebook profile name is Faith, Faith, and then surname HN. So is there anything else that you would like? Sorry, HG, yes. I apologize. Yeah. So Faith, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience today? Just your parting words.
Okay. So actually I can share my motto, that is have faith, live your dreams, and live thy legacy. I think a lot of people, they are so busy, absorbed in like working, earning money, that they actually lose sight of their own dreams. To be honest, it's like, even if you're earning money, it's like you can also have a dream that you can actually chase along the way. Yes, and I think life is really short, so we should live our life meaningfully, no matter in what ways, as long as you feel that you won't regret leaving this journey.
Yeah, fantastic, well said, and you have actually shared so much golden information, golden nuggets, and I've actually learned quite a lot from you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend this time with me. And for everybody, just one more reminder, you want to get in touch with Faith, she's available on Facebook. You can search for her profile name is Faith, Faith, and then surname HG. So with that, this is Rise from Carol Gockel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Faith, for coming once again, to share your voice and then to give us an amazing message. And
thank you so much.
The Global Peace Intergenerational Dialogue is on the 29th of July, and it will be broadcast onto the Global Peace Facebook page, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? So people can actually log on to it. And for those, I will actually put in the link for the Global Peace Facebook page. So do tune in, and think about it, because this is a very important dialogue that we are having in representation of Singapore and what we are doing. Some suggestion of what are the actions we can take for humanity and going beyond. So if you are able to, come on and then join us. If you're not able to join us as a panelist, but join us in conversation to understand what are the things that you can do as an individual to take everything forward. Right? Great. So this is Rise with Carol Gockel. This is Carol and our special guest for today, Faith Hung. And with this, we will end the show. Thank you and good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.